Thousands of years ago, long before gyms, supplements, or fitness trackers, human beings walked for days across mountains, forests, and uneven ground. And very often, they carried what they needed on their own backs, things like food, tools, water, and even their children. Some carried armor, like the Spartans. In fact, the Spartans would run in their armor when they had to. Over time, that kind of loaded movement built bodies that were remarkably resilient. Those humans were extraordinary. But here's where I want you to pause and think. Those same remarkable humans went on to have descendants. Exactly. And you are one of them. Now, here's what's strange. We've spent the last 100 years inventing every possible way to get fit. Machines, classes, trackers, powders, apps, recovery devices, and yet one of the most powerful tools for building a resilient human body was hiding in plain sight the entire time. The thing human beings did for most of history just to stay alive: walking with weight. Today we call it rucking. And right now, the internet is calling it one of the biggest fitness trends of the year. Most of those articles tell you the same basic thing. Rucking is good cardio. It burns more calories than walking. It builds strength. And they're not wrong. They're just barely scratching the surface. Because the moment you put a load on your back and start to move, something happens that almost no one is explaining. Your body doesn't just work harder. It begins to change how you hold yourself, how you breathe, how you produce energy, even how your tissues adapt and recover. And by the time we're done here, I want you to understand your own body in a way that changes how you think about walking, strength, endurance, and recovery. I'm Dr. Moving Better. Let me show you that rucking is far more than you think. So let's start with what rucking actually is. You can simply take a backpack, add some weight, and start walking. That's exactly how I started. It's that simple. And that simplicity is exactly why most people underestimate it. Honestly, it's probably why the fitness industry overlooked it for so long. It's hard to sell a monthly membership for something you can do on any sidewalk with a loaded backpack. But the military never forgot. Loaded marching has been part of how soldiers are built for thousands of years, and the reason is simple. It works. It builds usable, real-world capacity in a way very few other things do. Now the science is finally catching up to what soldiers always knew. Let me give you the part the trend articles actually get right, because it's worth understanding before we go deeper. First, energy. Adding weight to your walk increases the work your body does. Research shows rucking can significantly increase calorie burn compared to walking without weight. Second, your bones. This one gets overlooked. When you move with weight, you signal your bones to adapt and grow stronger. Studies on loaded military training have shown measurable increases in bone density over time. In medicine, we call this Wolff's Law. Your bones remodel themselves in response to the demands you place on them. Third, and this is the part I really want you to hear, rucking can be lower impact than running when it is progressed correctly. Running is excellent, but it is high impact and can stress your knees, feet, and tendons if your body is not prepared for it. Rucking, on the other hand, can give you meaningful cardiovascular work without the same repetitive pounding of running. I actually used rucking to improve my trail running, but that's a different episode. So, now you may think I've explained everything about rucking, but guess what? That's not the whole story. That's just the surface. Because here's the question almost no one is asking. What is actually happening inside your body the moment you put that load on your back? Here's where rucking stops being simple. Because the moment you put that load on your back and take your first step, your body makes a series of silent adjustments, and most people never realize it's happening. Think about it. That weight behind you is constantly trying to pull you backward. If you did nothing, you'd tip over. So your nervous system makes an instant decision. It leans your body slightly forward to keep you balanced over your feet. You don't consciously choose this. Your nervous does it for you automatically with every step. And that small forward lean changes everything upstream. To hold that position against the load, the muscles along your spine, your upper back, deep core, and your hips have to switch on and stay on. They're no longer just moving you forward. They're working continuously to keep you upright and aligned under that weight. Research shows the muscles along your spine, like the erector spinae, fire significantly harder when you walk loaded compared to walking without weight. This is why rucking quietly builds something most training misses: postural endurance, the ability to hold yourself well for a long time under real demand. And yet, we still haven't reached the part that surprises even me. When you ruck, you're training something that almost no one really thinks about. According to the American Lung Association, you take around 20,000 breaths a day, and rucking trains your breathing system. When you ruck with a backpack, it sits on your upper back and shoulders. That weight slightly restricts how much your chest wall can expand with each breath. So what does your body do? Your diaphragm, the primary breathing muscle beneath your lungs, has to work significantly harder to pull air in against that restriction. And so do the supporting muscles around your rib cage. Over time, with repeated exposure, those muscles can become more conditioned, more endurance, more capacity. In the medical field, we use a related concept called inspiratory muscle training, or IMT, to strengthen the muscles that help you breathe. While rucking is not the same as formal IMT, the underlying principle is similar. Your breathing muscles have to work harder under load. Here's the one that connects everything, and the one almost no one is explaining. Every article covering rucking talks about the mental clarity and the stress relief. They're right, but they don't tell you why. Think about the act of rucking itself. It's rhythmic, steady, loaded movement. It can influence your autonomic nervous system. The vagus nerve is one of the major pathways involved in shifting the body toward parasympathetic regulation, the state associated with recovery, digestion, and repair. Research shows that regular aerobic exercise can improve autonomic balance and vagal tone, often measured through heart rate variability. Rhythmic, loaded movement like rucking may be one way to train that system. Here's how I want you to think about this. That mental shift after a ruck isn't just a simple endorphin mood change. Your nervous system may be shifting state, coming out of stress mode and moving toward a more regulated condition where real recovery can happen. The next time you finish a ruck and feel that quieting, that sense of settling, of everything slowing down, you will understand it differently. That is not just a mood. That is your nervous system shifting state. My personal take on this is that this autonomic effect may be one of the most underappreciated benefits in all of movement medicine. Let's now turn to something that we really need to look at closely and change the way we think about it. It's tendon injury. Maybe you've had tennis elbow or patellar tendinopathy or Achilles tendonitis. If you have a painful tendon, the instinct is to rest it and give it time to heal. And for the first few days or after an acute injury, that makes perfect sense. But here is where I see the problem. Tendons have limited blood supply compared with muscle. And because of that, passive rest alone does not provide the mechanical stimulus or structural demand that tendon tissue needs to rebuild capacity. What the research now shows is that tendons adapt primarily through mechanical loading. In other words, at some point you have to use the tendon again, but in a smart, progressive way. When it is progressed well, rucking can provide one of the things tendon tissue needs: repeated tensile loading through the lower extremities. That mechanical signal helps tendon cells respond, remodel, and build tolerance over time. So, rucking, done smartly, can help build capacity in the tendons around your ankles and knees. However, done incorrectly, rucking can cause or worsen tendon problems, leading to ankle pain, knee pain, or foot pain. The point is, move smart and move with intent. There's much more to cover on tendons, and this is something we really need to look at more closely, but that's another episode. Let me know in the comments if you have any chronic tendon injuries. So, how can you make use of what I just said? Let me bring this out of the research and into something you can actually use. If you're starting from scratch, for instance, or you just got discharged from inpatient rehabilitation, or you've decided you are not going to age the way most other people do, then start with walking without weight. Once that feels easy, add lightweight. A book bag with a few pounds is enough. There's no set starting weight. It's what your body can handle without causing strain or fatigue. Honestly, there were times when I would throw a few cans of soup or whatever was lying around into my book bag and go for a walk. Nowadays, you'll see people walking with weighted vests, and that's a legitimate option worth looking into. And as you take those first steps, notice something. Feel how your posture adjusts with added weight. Notice your breathing. Pay attention to where your body is working. Because now you understand exactly what's happening. You are moving with intent. You don't need to do this every day because rest and recovery matter. Ruck 2 to 3 times a week or even once a week to start. The rule is consistency. Even once a week, done consistently over months, builds real adaptation. When it feels genuinely easier, it is time to progress. We are talking weeks here, maybe even months, but not days. And here's the clinical reason that timeline matters. Military medicine has studied this closely. Your cardiovascular system often begins responding within a few weeks. But bone adaptation takes longer, often many weeks. And that slower timeline is one reason bone stress injuries show up after people increase training too quickly, so be careful and be smart. Another thing to keep in mind is when you are ready to progress. You can increase weight or distance, but never both simultaneously. Give yourself at least 2 to 3 weeks at any given load before moving forward. Rucking is scalable in a way most training is not. Whether you are a 25-year-old soldier, an athlete, a post-stroke patient, or a 70-year-old rebuilding capacity, the principle can be scaled. For some people, that starts with unweighted walking. For others, it becomes loaded walking. But the goal is the same: build capacity in a way your body can actually adapt to. Because rucking isn't just walking with weight, it's loaded capacity training, and now you know exactly what that means. The most important thing to understand before you start, or if you are already rucking, is for most people, the limiting factor is not your cardiovascular system. It is your connective tissue, your tendons, your bones, your fascial networks. These tissues adapt more slowly than your heart and lungs, and sometimes they do not give clear warning signs until the load has already exceeded their current capacity. This is where rucking can lead to injury or worsen one already present. If you feel sharp pain, worsening pain, pain that changes your gait, or pain that lingers after the session, something needs to be adjusted. Listen to it. Do not push through pain just to prove you are tough. In the next episode, we go deeper into what catches most people off guard, and that is tendon injuries. We'll go over how they happen during rucking and how to prevent them. If you're already dealing with chronic tendon pain, drop a comment below. I want to know what you're working with. Thank you for joining me. I'm Dr. Moving Better. Remember this, energy is managed. If it's managed, it can be recalibrated. Build reserve before you add load. If this was useful, leave a comment below. Move smart, move with intent, keep on rucking. I'll see you in the next episode.